Hello crafty friends, Roxanne here from craftwagon.ca. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel today. I'm going to be sharing this You're Inspiring card. You can use it for, I did a birthday card and a Happy Mother's Day card, so just two variations on the theme. I'm going to be showing you this one here, how to put this one here together. And this card was inspired by this design here. Someone else on YouTube did a video using these elements and I really liked it, so I wanted to kind of do my own version and share with you. I thought it was a good way to share the Stampin' blends. So let's get started. Here are the supplies you will need for today's card. We have the You're Inspiring stamp set, as well as the Stampin' blends. And for this card, I will be using the Old Olive, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Ivory. As well as for the bling, we'll use the Rhinestone Basic Jewels and the Classic Label Punch. And for your ink, you will need the basic black archival Stampin' pad and then the Crumb Cake Classic Stampin' pad. And for embossing today, we're using the Versamark ink pad as well as Embossing Buddy, and we'll be featuring the white embossing powder. Okay. So your card ingredients are the Daffodil Delight 5.5 by 8.5, a piece of Color Theory Designer Series paper cut at 2 and 5.5, white Whisper White cut at 2 and 5.5, a scrap of black, a piece of Old Olive about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch wide and 5.5 inches long, and then the Old Olive mini chevron ribbon, and that's about 8 inches. Mine's cut a little bit short, but I would recommend making about 8 inches. So what we're going to do is stamp up our piece of paper first, and then we'll do some coloring. So what you want to do is ink up. I'm using the largest daffodil image in the stamp set. And what I'm going to do is I actually want to do it sideways. So I'm putting one image on the right, another image on the left, close to the top, and then in the middle I'm just angling this little piece here, pressing that down, and then so then I get a image in the middle. So that's how I did that. And then with the crumb cake, you can go ahead. What I did is I just wanted the bubbles to be, I call them bubbles, I'm not sure what they are. So I just went ahead and I stamped, and then I stamped off. And you can do as little or as much as you like. So there we go. So that's it for the inking for that. And then if you want to complete your inking, and then we can get to the coloring, is grab your basic black scrap there and give it a little love with your Embossing Buddy. And now I'm going to use the Happy Birthday greeting from the stamp set. Ink that up with my Versamark, and then press that down. And I'm going to go over with the embossing powder, but before I do that, make sure we close all our ink pads so we do not get embossing powder on them. Okay, so open this up, and now I'm going to sprinkle that on and top it off, and that's what you get. So now you can see here I have a few little bits there that probably I pressed too hard on the stamp set, so I'm just going to rub those. Now I do have a paintbrush. You can grab a paintbrush and do that as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go over to the heat embossing tool and heat that up and bring that back. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so I went ahead and heated that up with the heat tool. And now I'm going to grab the punch and punch that out. And this is nice that so all the greetings fit except for the one that says Happy Mother's Day, because it's a little bit, it's got 2 lines of words. But you could blank it out and just do Happy Mother's Day. So then I'm going to put these dimensionals on the back and put that to the side, and so we can get to the coloring. So now we'll do the coloring. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer here, so hopefully that's nice and close for you to see what I'm doing. So when the Stampin' blends, they have a dark and a light of both colors, and they have a bullet point and a brush tip. So depending on how fine you want to go, you can use either. So I'll show you the bullet tip here. So I like to use the bullet tip for the stems of the flowers. And just follow that along. Okay. And then for the brush, I like to use the brush tip for the other end. So I just like to take the lids off and do this. So when you're coloring, you can't really see on the leaves because I took the bottom out. But so when you're coloring, whenever you see these dark lines here, that's an indication of a dark or a shadow. And so you could go ahead and use the dark when I'll show you the yellow in a second. So with the green, where the leaf is turning, that kind of indicates it's going to be a little bit darker there. So I'm using the dark, and then I'm going over with the light, and I'm going back and forth a little bit over the light, over the dark, sorry. And what that does is it blends in the color. So you could go ahead and keep coloring. And you could go for this one if you wanted to. You could actually do side by side. Okay. And then you just see how that blends in. So that's the old olive. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the flower. So we've got the Daffodil Delight. And for this one, I believe I'll do the brush tip as well. Okay, so again, this is the darker one. So here where you see these shadow lines, you're going to color those shadow lines in, and then come in with your light and go overlapping, and there you go. And that's kind of your stem there. So I just do a little bit, and then I come with my lighter one like that. And it's going to be darker at the bottom because the sun is, we're going to say the sun's coming from this angle. And then so here you go, you want the bottom to be a bit more dark, less light. So then I put in a lot more of this yellow, the dark yellow. So and at the top again, just a little bit of the dark, and then the rest is the light. Okay, and then where the cup is on the daffodil, I want a lot of dark there again. And this just gives you that idea of, and then for here, you can go like this with the yellow. So you can make the flower all yellow if you like. So see that part there is dark, so it just gives that shadow. And if I'm like, I want it to be a bit darker, I can go back over it again with the dark and then with the light. You kind of play with it as you go. And then for this one here, this is the bud. Hasn't quite come out. So I'm mostly doing dark, and I may just go over a little bit with the light, but primarily dark because it's a bud. The other thing you can do is use some of the dark daffodil and then come in with the light brush tip pumpkin pie to give it a bit of orange, because as you know, some of the daffodils have a bit of orange in them. And then I would go again over with my light Daffodil Delight. So that just, you can change up the colors a little bit on your daffodils. So I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of this, but I'll speed up the video so you don't have to watch me color the whole thing, because it does take a little bit of time. So you can watch, and then you can go ahead and color yours. And there is your daffodils all colored. Now I took a different one and I went ahead and colored it, and I put away the one that I actually put the little bubbles on. So I'm going to go back and do that quick. There you go. So that's that part done. Now we can put the card together. So with the Designer Series paper, there is this color chip side, and then there's this kind of crackled paint side. So I went ahead and I glued down the crackled paint side for this card and the old olive strip. And then I'm going to adhere this card piece that we colored on the top. So for this part here, you could butt it up right up to the edge, and then you don't see the yellow cardstock at all. Or you could bring it down. I kind of like the thinner line of the old olive and a bit of the yellow showing. So that's what I'm going to do with my card. But before we glue that down, grab a piece of ribbon. And we're going to tie that on to the card. So in my previous card, I actually had it going around here, but I really don't want to cover up my flowers, but I guess that'll be okay. So for this card, we're actually going to take the ribbon and cut it on a bit of an angle on either side, like this. And then I'm going to grab my glue dots. Actually, I can use my fast fuse for this. So I'm just going to flip over my ribbon and put some fast fuse on that. And I'll put this down below here on the card, and then come in with my happy birthday greeting. And I'm going to place that on top, center that on top of the ribbon. And then we'll glue this down. Okay, so here we go. So just add your coloring there. And then we're just about done. We'll add a little bit of bling. So we will put some rhinestones on there, and then we'll be all set. So I think I'm going to use the smallest ones, and I'm going to put 3 on the corner here and try and line them up straight. Mine's a little crooked there. There you go. And there's your card done. Thank you so much for watching my video. Be sure to press the like button and subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date on all my crafty adventures. And have a great day. Bye for now.